Good morning. So, did you watch the Super Bowl? Well, I am married, and my husband absolutely loves football, so it is a compromise. Marriage is a compromise. So, yes, I watched the first half of what they're now calling the Sleeper Bowl because it was the most boring football game of all football games. And of course, as you can see, I am reliving last year's Super Bowl, which was so exciting and so fun for us. Our Eagles took out the Patriots and took them to school, and we were the champions, and we will always have that Super Bowl as a wonderful memory. So, since the game was so boring, I turned my attention to the commercials and the halftime show. Lots to talk about there. The one thing I did notice about the commercials was in the first half of the game, which is all I watched, every other commercial was for alcohol, booze, making drinking beer look like it's so fun and so cool. And I'm thinking, aren't the children watching? A lot of children get to stay up and watch the Super Bowl. A lot of children all over the world watching. And the one commercial that really got to me was the one with the sparkling water. You know, everybody's telling you need to drink more water, and so they've made these flavored waters now that taste like all the fruit flavors of the rainbow. Well, now they've added booze to the sparkling flavored waters. Now, let's remember, everybody's losing their minds about the Juul cigarettes, right? The flavored tobacco, the e-cigarettes, they taste like bubble gum and fruity flavors, and the children are getting their hands on them. How? I have no idea, because you don't see an advertisement for e-cigarettes. But children are breaking the law. Again, people who sell Juul to children are breaking the law. But they're trying to ban e-cigarettes that are flavored. They're even trying to ban menthol cigarettes, which have been around for decades, because children think they taste good. Well, who wants to sell a product that tastes like shit? Did you see that chunky milk commercial? That made me want to throw up. That was not a good commercial. You don't want to sell a product that doesn't taste good or that people don't want to use because it tastes like shit. So yeah, but I did find it interesting that now we're taking sparkling water. You know, doctors say drink 8 ounce glasses of water a day. And I'm like, yeah, right. I'll tell you what, that cherry or lemon or blueberry flavored sparkling water, and then they put booze in it, I'll drink 8 ounces glasses of that water a day. No questions. But think about it. The children. What about the children? Isn't it always about the children? Isn't that why adults can't watch a full movie without it getting bleeped on TNT? I mean, it's the children. We have to protect the little children. But these commercials, man, they made drinking look really fun. And I'm thinking about like people who have sparkling water in the refrigerator, right? And little Johnny says, Mommy, I want a water. Oh, yeah, baby, go in the refrigerator and get it. And Johnny pulls out the wrong water bottle. And I mean, you know, I'm 4. I can't read. Oops. Johnny got the hard water. Johnny going to sleep good tonight. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. And then we can go to the halftime show, which had something in common with the commercials. What about the children? My God. Adam Levine is half naked, gyrating all over the stage, showing his nipples. The children, remember Janet Jackson? Come on. Janet Jackson on the very same network, CBS. Accidentally, her top came down and 1 second of a nipple, and everybody lost their minds. The children, cover your eyes. Oh my God, it's a nipple. Adam Levine is half naked on stage for like 5 whole minutes. Nobody bats an eyelash. The other interesting thing is CBS got fined by the FCC for that. People were boycotting CBS over Janet Jackson. And yet, you take little Johnny to the mall or to a restaurant and a strange woman whips out her breast to feed her baby, little Johnny going to get a show. But that's okay because she's feeding her baby. If Janet Jackson, back when she did the Super Bowl show, had done what that model did on the runway, walked down the runway breastfeeding her kid, oh, they thought it was a beautiful thing. Maybe Janet Jackson should have brought her baby on stage and started breastfeeding while she was singing, and then nobody could have said nothing because she's feeding the future generation. But everybody lost their minds because of the children seeing a nipple for half a second. Hell, you walk in any mall in America today, you can see the whole show. You'll see an entire breast because women are allowed to breastfeed anywhere and we're not allowed to say a word about it. You know, I'm trying to enjoy a nice dinner, eat a creme brulee. I'm having my creme brulee for dessert. Woman next to me whips out her breast, starts the baby sucking on it. I'm not allowed to say a word about that. But again, an accidental showing of a woman's nipple during the halftime show, everyone loses their mind. Adam Levine whips off his shirt and starts gyrating with his pants half the way down. No one says a word. And let's talk about the other guy whose name I don't even know. But let me just tell you, he comes on, he starts doing his thing, and all of a sudden, all we heard here at home, beep, we thought the cable was going out. No, he was cursing at the halftime show. Every other word was probably fuck. Or some other word that CBS bleep. We didn't even hear the guy sing. We didn't hear his performance. Bleep. But the children in the audience in Atlanta heard it. Oh my God, cover your ears, little Johnny. Oh my God, what the hell is going on here? This is supposed to be a family show. But I didn't hear many complaints about it. I don't see anybody suing CBS or fining CBS. And again, this is about respect, and we're going to get into respect very shortly with the First Amendment and the Colin Kaepernick bullshit. But really, you're asked to perform at the halftime show at the Super Bowl when people all over the world are watching, and you decide to come on stage and curse and swear and use the F-bomb and beep is all anybody hears. You know why I don't know the dude's name? Because I couldn't understand anything he was even talking about or singing. I didn't hear him because this entire performance was beep, completely inappropriate, and he should be ashamed of himself. He really should. So let's get to the big elephant in the room in Atlanta, which of course was the fact that the lovely Gladys Knight and Maroon 5 as well were criticized for performing because of one football player, Colin Kaepernick, who says is suing the NFL because he can't get a job because he chooses to kneel during the singing of our national anthem when he's getting paid millions of dollars to be on that field to play 17 football games a year. Now, I know they work all year long to keep in shape, but at the end of the day, they go to work every Sunday for 17 Sundays. And they get paid double-digit millions to do that. And part of that job, whether they like it or not, but they know it when they sign on, is being there and standing for our national anthem. Now, you don't have to sing. You don't have to put your hand over your heart. But the least you can do is stand and respect a country that pays a 22-year-old college graduate, but college graduate because of a scholarship for throwing a ball, millions of dollars. That's a gift, and you should be a little grateful. Not to mention the fact that the fans, the people who pay you that salary by buying tickets, buying your jersey, supporting your team, those people stand for the national anthem. Those people have fought for our country proudly. They have put on the uniform. They have lost limbs to protect our country. They have lost loved ones, family members who bravely fought for this country, for your right to be on that field making millions of dollars to throw a ball. Okay, you're playing a game, for Christ's sake. and you're getting paid very well to do it. And part of your job is, yes, you will stand and listen at least to the national anthem. Gladys Knight said it very well. That she said, I have been in the civil rights fight before these new activists had even been born. But it is an honor to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl in my home of Atlanta, my hometown. And good for her for doing it. You know, it's like what I talked about last week about, they said, well, Gladys, you need to stand with your brother, Colin Kaepernick. He's not her brother. She's probably never met the dude. So why should she give up this honor to stand up for somebody she's never even met, simply because they share the same skin color? Again, this gets me angry. My husband and I had a debate last week. We were hearing all this brouhaha about Kaepernick and, wow, I can't get a job. And my husband said, you're political Paula. The First Amendment is what you do. And I'm like, yes, I do believe in the First Amendment. But I also understand the First Amendment has exceptions. And we are the perfect example as a couple. When my husband was looking for a job last year, I unfriended him on Facebook. Not because I don't love my husband. I did a show about it. It was called, I wrote a blog, the Facebook divorce. And I changed my profile. Instead of saying married to and his name, I just put I'm married. And that was because employers now, whether we like it or not, and I will tell you, I don't like it. I don't think an employer should be able to use your First Amendment right to be on Facebook and express yourself against you when deciding if they want to hire you. But they do, and it's legal. I know a lot of people who use fake Facebook names to be on Facebook, and they will tell me, I'm so-and-so, but I'm using this name because I don't want my employer or future employers to see what I write on Facebook. I don't want them to see me in a bikini with a tequila shot and a cigarette. I have one friend who has told me, do not ever post a picture of us together on Facebook. She will post no pictures of herself on Facebook. Nothing. She doesn't want people to see what she does when she's not working because it could hurt her at work. I know a teacher who went on vacation recently and posted no pictures of her vacation. I said, where are your pictures? She said, I'm a teacher. I can't let a parent of a student maybe see me. She had most of the pictures on my vacation. I had a drink in my hand, and that's not cool. She was on vacation. It's not like she was drinking in the classroom, but it still wasn't cool. See, do you understand what I'm saying here? If I go to church, or if anyone goes to a church service because they have to, and the congregation stands to say a prayer, and say you're an atheist and you don't believe in that prayer, well, you don't disrespect that entire congregation by sitting down. You stand up. You stand up with respect for those people who believe what they're talking about. You don't have to say the prayer. You don't have to believe the prayer, but you don't disrespect the church and those people. If you're at a dinner table and someone wants to say grace, and you're like, well, we don't really say grace in our house. You don't say that. It's your First Amendment right to say it, but you don't say that. That's hurtful. You bow your head and be respectful, and if it makes them happy, you let them do it. It's about respect. If you are a school teacher and you need to lead your class in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and you don't believe in the Pledge of Allegiance, you have to do it. It's part of your job. If you work for a company and you walk into the office, you're not allowed to say to your black boss, you can't call him the N-word. You can't call a gay coworker the F-word. You'll get fired for that. You can't tell somebody at work that they look fat today. It's your First Amendment right, but you're going to get fired. It's called respect. It's called respect. And again, the Colin Kaepernick thing is, first of all, he's suing. He says that he's not getting work because he refuses to stand for the national anthem. Well, how about maybe he's just not good enough? Should any employer, and I talked about this last week too, should an NFL team owner be forced to hire Colin Kaepernick if he doesn't want him on his team? It should be up to the employer who they hire. It shouldn't matter who the person is. And once again, before all the Colin Kaepernick fans start hating on me, don't hate on me. I will defend Colin Kaepernick's right to protest what goes on in different cities across our country where black people are being shot. They are arrested for driving while black. It's abhorrent. It's horrible. And he has every right to be an activist against it. My issue with Mr. Kaepernick is the arena he's choosing to protest. First of all, the American anthem, our national anthem, is federal. It's our entire country. And we all know that in many parts of our country, there are fabulous police officers who do not abuse their power and do not shoot first and ask questions later. They do not shoot innocent people because of the color of their skin. The bad apples, yes, there are bad apples everywhere. Talk about bad apples. Let's look at the NFL. Michael Vick. Oh my God, when Michael Vick was hired, the dog murderer by the Philadelphia Eagles, my beloved Eagles, that whole season, I did not watch an Eagles game. I couldn't do it. My husband put an Eagles game on, I walked out of the room. Because when you kill a dog, that's unforgivable. And you only get 3 years in prison for it, and then you get to come back out here and make millions of bucks. I was very much against that. First Amendment right. But like people said, he served his time. He has the right to work. He did his time. Then the fans have their right to just no longer support the team. That's how this country kind of works. But again, good for the Philadelphia Eagles owner. He said, you know what? I don't care. He's a good quarterback. I think we can win with him. I'm going to hire him. The best person for the job. If I don't like it, I don't have to watch. I don't have to support the team. You know, there are other issues with the First Amendment. The freedom of religion, which I also often call the freedom from religion, which is what it should be. No one should be able to force anyone else to practice their religion if they don't want to. And yet, we did have people trying to use the First Amendment, freedom of religion, to discriminate. We had the employers who say, because my church doesn't believe in birth control, if you work for me at the craft store, you can't use birth control. I'm not putting it on our insurance. You can't get your birth control through our insurance. Well, that's not right. But they swear that's their First Amendment. I think that's an abuse of the First Amendment. Because what they're actually doing is taking something that says they have the right to go to church, they have the right to believe and freely practice what they believe, but what they don't have the right to do is force their employees to practice that religion. That Kim Davis down in Kentucky, clerk of courts, her job was to issue marriage licenses. She refused to issue marriage licenses to gay couples. Well, I'm sorry, Miss Davis, that's your job. Your First Amendment right of freedom of religion does not follow you into work because you don't work at a church. You work for the government. And the government says gay people have a right to a marriage license. That's your job. You don't like it, don't do your job. Don't do your job. The baker who won't bake a cake for a gay couple. It's his First Amendment right. Is it? Really? A cake? I say it's not. So as much as I stand by the First Amendment, there are times when you need to check yourself, like it or not. You are not allowed to use your First Amendment to discriminate against somebody, to cause violence against another person, KKK stands behind First Amendment, and yet they are abhorrent. They abuse the First Amendment because they use their robes and then the alt-right with their swastikas. They have the First Amendment right to do it, but it causes harm. It causes harm. I have a tattoo right here that the pen is mightier than the sword. And I stand by that too. I choose to argue and fight with words, not with violence. I don't hit people. I don't use weapons against people. I will stand my ground and I will give my opinion, but even political Paula, I have to check myself. I have to make sure that I don't harm, first of all, my husband's chance of getting a job. Now, again, that we would fight that. If someone said we didn't hire you because we don't like your wife's politics, that's completely wrong. But I don't know if at the end of the day we would win. It would be like the Catholic school teacher I talked about that got pregnant and she's not married. And people thought I was going to stand up for her, and I did not. I said, she worked for a Catholic school. People pay money to send their children to Catholic school. They want them to be raised as good Catholics, and good Catholics are not supposed to get pregnant without a husband. And the teacher knew this going in. And she even admits that she has no animosity toward the school, that she broke the rules. So if you use your First Amendment right and you break the rules that going in are the rules, well, I can't stand up for you in that situation. I get angry with some of my friends who say, I don't want my picture on Facebook. I don't want you. And they're great pictures. I have great pictures of me with my good friend, but I'm not allowed to post them on Facebook because she's afraid someone will see them and see her maybe having fun, which she doesn't want her employers to think she ever has fun. That's the kind of person she is, which I think is sad. But again, the First Amendment is precious, but it is not absolute. You're not allowed to yell bomb on an airplane unless there is a bomb on the airplane. You're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater or a public place unless there's a fire. You get arrested for that. So while we do honor and treasure our First Amendment rights, there are times when we have to stand back and say, we're not going to use that precious right to disrespect people, especially in a public forum like a football field or a church. If I walk into a church and I don't believe in what they're going to be saying, but I voluntarily walk in, then I'm not allowed to disrespect that church. I'm not allowed to sit or make nasty comments about it. Oh, yeah, right. I'm not allowed to heckle the pastor when he's giving the sermon. Even though my First Amendment says I can, I'm not going to. So if you choose to put yourself in a position where you may have to do something that you're not happy about, like standing up for our national anthem, then just don't take the job. Don't take the job. As I said before, no one's telling Mr. Kaepernick that he has to put his hand over his heart or sing the song. But would standing up really harm him in any way? Just like it doesn't harm me if I'm in a church that I don't agree with what they're saying, that I just, sit and stand when it's appropriate and be respectful and quiet. And then when I walk out the church, I can look at my husband and say, oh my God, was that a load of crap? I can believe it, but you're not going to spew that out in the middle of the church service. So I'm really interested to see the comments on this show because, again, it was a really boring game, so I figured let me at least get a show out of it. And the ads, the halftime show, and of course the Kaepernick brouhaha did give me quite a bit to talk about. So I will be back here. I will see you back here on Thursday. Until then, remember, you have the right to do it, but sometimes you need to ask, should I do it? And remember, there are consequences for every action. Political Paula, out.